Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 13 of Dororo. We are here with our first scheduled Dororo reaction. Dororos are now on Wednesdays. So we're here for our first one scheduled. Now, I'm pre-recording this, mind you, so get used to that. These videos are going to mostly be pre-recorded, probably on Mondays and Tuesdays for the most part. But yeah, so this will be pre-recorded, just letting you know. So that's why I'm wearing the same shirt that I've been wearing, that I wore on Monday. Also just to note, we're in my room today because I'm recording this on Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So because of that, my father is going to be home and everything. And I just don't want to bother anyone out there or whatnot while I'm recording. The thing is, I recorded the Monday reaction before I knew he was going to be coming back home, so it's like, ugh. But, oh well. Either way, it's fine. We are here with another Dororo. Last time we left off, we finished off the two-part mid-season finale, which had our first meeting and confrontation between Hyakimaru and his family. And things are definitely going to head in a, I feel, different direction from here on out. It's going to start being a little more intense, and I feel maybe even more focused than it was before this. And there's a lot that's going to be worked with the thing that the mother prayed on and sacrificed her blood to, that was glowing at the end of last episode, with the monk, the blind monk, who's kind of been friends with Dororo and Hyakimaru, and so much more. So there's a lot to look forward to. But I'm ready to get right into this. We are only doing the one episode a week for the most part, probably now that we're on the schedule. Maybe two sometimes if I'm really feeling up to it. But at least for now, one episode a week for the most part. But we're still going to get through this. We're still going to continue on until we get to the end, because I'm very much enjoying this series, and I definitely don't want to drop it or anything. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what more we have in store. So let's just get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so this episode was pretty sad, all things considered. It had a lot of sorrow to it. Like you felt for this carver, for what they went through. This prolific carver just suddenly shunned and ignored simply because he wasn't he wasn't carving the kinds of things that the people wanted. Their interests, their desires for these statues changed because of the war. Because of this, he became vengeful, he became sorrowful, he became just generally upset, and it overtook him. He kept trying to make this statue as a way to get back at them. And he kept trying to give it the perfect face, but could not figure out what was perfect up to his death. At which point an evil spirit inhabited the statue and resurrected him. So there's that as well. Resurrected him as a shapeshifter who could take the form of anyone, but seemed, at least from what we saw, to mostly be taking the form of women in order to lure their husbands and whatnot, or their children, or so on and so forth. Um, Dororo and Yakimaru come across while traveling, and Yakimaru is set to be the next sacrifice by them, by the carver. But Dororo ends up saving him, and working together, they stop the carver's like vengeance, basically. But mostly Dororo, specifically. Dororo stops the carver's vengeful just mindset, so that when because of Hyakimaru's actions, the statue ends up slicing into the carver. They're able to pass on. They're finally able to accept things and just move on from their life without any more regrets, any more vengeance, any more sorrow. And it's you do feel for them. It doesn't excuse their actions by any means. Their actions were still bad, but the intent there was built upon something not so much, something that a lot of us can understand. A lot of us can just get. And that's the desire to be seen as valuable, the desire to be seen as worthy, as just cared for and loved and appreciated. Everyone feels that. Everyone wants to be cared for. Everyone wants to be loved and valued and appreciated. All of us want that. Now, of course, not all of us would go to these extremes for it, mind you, but all of us still want that. So we can understand and we can get the carver's motivations here, even if the way they went about it was horrible. But that's why Hyakimaru didn't see the carver as evil through their aura. He saw them as uncertain, as kind of this literal gray area in between. And so yeah, it's really sad. And on top of that, there's the stuff in this episode about both Hyakimaru and Dororo's moms. Hyakimaru is upset over what happened with his family back at the Daigo province. And Dororo, when first meeting the carver, who's, by the way, I keep calling them the carver. I can't remember their name. It's like Kakoku or something like that. I don't remember. But I'm just going to keep referring to them as the carver. But upon seeing them, the carver turns into Dororo's mom, and it's just, it's hard. And you can see the pain in Dororo's face, but you can also see the warmth and the love as he embraces this person who he knows is not actually his mom, but who looks and sounds like his mom so much that it's just it's really heartbreaking, really sad. And it just it's hard to watch sometimes when you see that kind of stuff. But again, you know Dororo understands it's not really his mom. He just needs that kind of comfort. He just needs that feeling of hope. And when the carver kidnaps Hyakimaru to sacrifice and everything, Dororo goes to rescue him, putting him first, above this image of his own mother. And that shows how good and kind and caring Dororo really is, but also how level-headed he is. Again, he knows that the carver is not his mother, but he still cares so much for that image of her. But in the end, he will not let that get in the way of something he knows is real. And that's how much he cares for Hyakimaru, and how much he wants to protect him like Hyakimaru has protected him. So yeah, it's just, I really liked that. And in the end, I like that Hyakimaru kind of calmed down after everything and was willing to just take a moment to rest and all. It showed that Dororo's actions did have an effect on Hyakimaru, and that he appreciated it. um, Now the opening, we got a new opening. I do want to briefly touch on that. Um, like I said, it's not as good as the first opening. It's not even close. As I said, the first opening is phenomenal. It's one of the best anime openings I've seen. This second opening, it's good. It's really good. It has some great imagery in it, but it's just not as good. It's just it, it it's it just doesn't live up to the hype of the first one. But it's still good, and it's still worth talking about. Now, there's a lot of big imagery in this in the second opening about Dororo and Hyakimaru's relationship, and so I think that this second part is going to delve a lot deeper into that, a lot more into Hyakimaru and Dororo becoming closer as found brothers. Um, I think that there's going to be a big focus on the family aspect of things. Dororo having lost his family, and Hyakimaru, while having found his family, them being not the best towards him at all. And speaking of, the opening also shows Tohomaru like looking really menacing, and that's kind of upsetting because Tohomaru he's a good guy, but if he's going to start going down a path similar to his father's, I'm going to be upset because it's like he's better than that, and we know he's better than that. So it's just a little upsetting to see that kind of imagery in there. Um, but yeah, either way, I definitely am still excited for where the second half of the series is going to go, and yeah, I really love like the direction that I feel this is going to be heading, like focusing so heavily on the relationship between these two and just giving us some, of course, more great action, more great mythological creature designs and stuff. Like that's still going to be great, but the character stuff is definitely what I'm really hyped for with the second half, especially if that opening is anything to hint at. um, Either way, tell me in the comments below what your thoughts on this episode of Dororo were, and thank you so much for tuning in. Since we have started this new scheduled reaction plan, you will see another episode of Dororo next Wednesday. So thank you so much for tuning in, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.